Hello and welcome, Forex fans. It's Rob here from eXplore, here with Galactic Civilizations 4. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm extremely excited to be able to show you this, and maybe as one of the first people in the world to be able to show you this. So it's extremely exciting. And what I want to do for this first episode is go through some of the starting customization options, so kind of look at some of the new factions, and kind of look at what you're going to be seeing for this alpha build, which is a very, very early build of Galactic Civilizations 4. So keep in mind that everything you're going to be seeing is under development, and also that this game isn't even slated to come out until 2022. And I think what you're going to see is a very polished alpha, something that's just really surprising in how good it looks and how good it feels for something that's so early in development. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start a new game. So in the alpha, you can only be the humans, right? So you can only be the Terran Alliance. But look at all these other races that they've started to add. They've locked them. You can actually play them. But the Festern Hunt, look how great they look. Then you have the Navigators, also just amazing looking. Then you have the Mimot Brotherhood, and they were bred by Drengen, which I think is hilarious. And we have other ones like the Manti Cluster. I mean, look at these animations. They are unbelievably good. And I'm just blown away by they clearly have learned quite a bit from their time with Star Control. And then, of course, we have the Baratech Grove, one of my favorite because I love plant races. So just really good stuff. And they've also kind of started to upgrade the old ones, although these don't appear to be upgraded yet. The humans, of course, are definitely upgraded, and then the Drengen are as well. So really great stuff, right? Just amazing looking. And also, I love some of the new faction design, just out of this world. I really appreciate it, and I'm someone who really enjoys alien-looking aliens, and the Festern Hunt, the Navigators, they really fit that bill, and I'm really excited about that. However, we can only be the Terran Alliance, which evidently 70% of people play as and never go to anything else, according to Stardoc's like metrics and stuff. So, yeah, I guess 30% of us will be missing out, but 70% won't. But let's go ahead and now what happens is you actually immediately customize your race. So you can change it by adding and subtracting from racial traits. So if I wanted to, I could maybe make me more clever, maybe make myself foolish. But as it stands, the Terrans are productive, so they gain a manufacturing bonus. They're explorers, which makes sense, right? They gain some ship range, and then they're also likable. Again, something that's kind of like the Terrans thing. So they gain a diplomacy bonus. So people are a little bit more excited to see you when you show up. And you can also change your colors, your ship colors. You can actually change I think you can change your planet type even. Wow, yes, you can change your planet type even. I'm going to leave everything as it is. But yeah, this is immediately already a better system, right? Because before you had to kind of go out of your way to customize your race, and this starts off the game by making it very clear you can customize. And I think, again, it's another win. It's another huge step forward for the Galactic Civilization series. We'll go to Galaxy settings, and what we're going to do is leave everything as standard as it comes. The victory conditions are the same. The game, of course, you're going to see some wonky stuff like here. That's fine. Again, it's pre-alpha. If that alpha, I guess it's considered alpha now. If that huge alpha thing in the bottom for testing purposes only doesn't, give it away, this is definitely alpha. So anything you see that's out of the ordinary or doesn't look right, they have plenty of time to fix it. So we'll look at our opponents now. And for the sake of actually giving us some of the ones that are new, I'll add all the new ones. So the Zalaxi are also new, but they haven't been, their character hasn't been fully animated yet, so that's why I didn't show it before. And then we have the Baratech Grove, and then we'll also put in the Drengen since they look good too. So we've got 6 against us. And, we'll leave these guys at maybe all of them at gifted. And yeah, there you go. So we could add random opponents. You could just click on this and then add as many random opponents as you want. And, that was actually how it was before, but you can also add the ones you want to see too. So I wanted to show you, hopefully we'll be able to interact with some of these during our short playthrough. So my intention with this series of videos is to first show you the differences, the new changes to the series in this first episode, and then play maybe the first 30 turns or so in the second episode. And then in the final episode, kind of give some of my thoughts so far on the game and how it stands. And yeah, I think for now that'll be enough, because you can get it yourself now. So, which is exciting. All right, let's go next, and we'll destroy the galaxy. All right, so you can already tell the difference in quality, right? I just think that there's such a huge step in quality with not only the UI, but the presentation and just the way they're taking themselves. Like, it just feels like this game is being taken much more seriously, and I appreciate that. So, first things first, you're going to see a map that's pretty familiar, right? Well, that's because it's very similar to Galactic Civilizations 3 at first glance. However, let's take a quick zoom out. And look at that. We can zoom out and we can see that we are only a small part of a huge galaxy. So this is just one sector of many sectors that are actually in this galaxy here. And that by itself is an indicator of just how much bigger the scope of this game is. And you might be worried, right? So someone like me is like, man, that sounds like a lot of micromanaging. But don't worry, because there's actually less micromanagement here in this game. And I'm going to talk to you about how and why that occurs. And I really, really appreciate the way this is being implemented. So where do we start from here? So first of all, look at our advisors up here. We have advisors telling us to send our discovery, which is this one, to survey nearby anomalies. We also have our other one saying that we should take our colony ship and colonize Mars. And then the other one saying we should order our shipyard to construct a new colony ship. These are that's great advice. Absolutely great advice. So we're going to slide back over here. This is the summary, which you'd see in Galactic Civilizations 3 too. But here you have your civilization rank. You'll see the balance of power, much like you would in Galactic Civilizations 3. Your planets. This is going to be much different. It's going to be much different. So you have core worlds. Earth is a core world. And you can basically manipulate it as you will, because you have what's called a governor here. And see, Earth is a class 19. And so we can basically do what we would do in every colony in Galactic Civilizations 3 on Earth. And that's because it is a core world. And part of the gameplay mechanics are that, well, a huge part of the gameplay mechanics is that you will have only a short number of core worlds and then a whole bunch of feeder worlds that feed their resources into your core worlds, depending on their proximity to those core worlds. So here we have the ability to really focus this particular planet the way we want to. So what we first do, and what I normally would first do, is find a way to get our manufacturing up and running. So this says Cataract. We'll have the ability to build a manufacturing district, and then you can see it will be modified by 3 levels because of the anomaly here, the Cataract. So let's go ahead and put the manufacturing district here. And you can also, we do that, we can manipulate each of these tiles. We can also send something like this over to anything we want to as well. So these are unique improvements to each of the colonies that you can provide. And in this case, if I wanted to, and I might just do that, because it looks like mountains provide no benefit whatsoever. So we could send our industrial center right here, which is going to further increase our ability to manufacture things. So we also have our citizens here. So we have the next citizen occurring, or like basically populating, in 10 turns. And our cap right now is 7. So each of these citizens have their own wants and needs. So right now they're saying my taxes are too high. They're upset with my high expectations, and they're unprotected. So there's no ship there. There's no military ship to protect Earth, and they don't like that, understandably. All right. So We also have available projects here. So we have the ability to create an economic stimulus, and further along the line, we'll see more projects. So great stuff. Here we have like a little bit of like a little flavor blurb. The citizens of Earth seem happy. There are always some complainers, but I wouldn't worry about it. And that's something that's been in almost in every Galactic Civilization game. So, all right. So we've got what we're going to start with at Earth going. We're going to go ahead and have TAS Discovery go ahead and set to auto survey. And we are going to send the colony ship to Mars, which is right here. And now we'll colonize Mars. And you're going to notice a huge difference. First of all, great cutscene. Love it. And then with each colonization that you do, you create or produce, you have a small little event, just like the old game, just like Galactic Civilizations 3. But this time the writing is much different. And all the events lead to significantly different things because there's a much more variety in the way that the gameplay can sort of deviate from here. So the red planet. So Mars is an inhospitable home for organic life with the challenges of radiation exposure, toxic soil, and low gravity. Still, we have identified 3 potential locations for colonies on the planet. Arius Vallis is where Sojourner, the first Terran explorer outside of Earth, landed. Aberswalda Delta is a delta and a delta, and Holden Crater has signs of microbial life that may indicate that the region is more suited for organic life. Where would you like to build our colony? So if we do it here, we'll gain a leader. If we do it here, we'll gain planetary minerals, and if we do it here, we'll gain a planetary technology. I'm going to take the leader because I want to show you how leaders work. So, voila. Well, now let's go and take a look at the leaders. So here's the leader screen, and each of these portraits, freaking amazing. Fantastically, each of the races have their own portraits, and quite a wide variety of them already. I just don't understand how they're doing this. But what we can do with these is, first of all, this is the recruitment screen. We can recruit new leaders based on their characteristics, which basically influence the way they're able to manage a variety of different things. In this case, the resolve will modify our leader's ability to take on military tasks. So you might put this guy on a ship. Diligence is going to be for exploration and for governing manufacturing-based colonies. Social is for ministers of colonization and improve the approval of colonies they govern. And then intelligence will obviously be for a minister of technology and for governing technology-focused colonies. There's more. So you'll as you progress through the game, there's actually going to be more minister slots that open up, and these will actually play more of a role as we get further along. But right now, see, as you can see, there's 7. I can count. So there's 7 ministers that you'll eventually have, and you start off with 3. And what we want to do is we want to take our new leader, the guy that we just picked up from Mars, that Mars event, and assign him. So he could be the Minister of Exploration, right? Because he has diligence, and that's really good for us. He could be our Minister of Technology because he has decent science. Well, the Minister of Exploration is going to allow us to have more moves and higher range. And at this point, that's a pretty good thing. And he has quite a bit of resolve that's going to increase that ability. So let's go ahead and slide him in here. So now he's our Minister of Exploration. He's now increased our ship range by 5 and our ship moves by 1, which is really great for a beginning. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. And now another thing you'll see and you'll notice is that you'll see that this line basically is showing that Mars is feeding into Earth. So all of the minerals, or so all of them, as if there's like a lot of them, but the 2 minerals that you see and the one, let's go ahead and click on it here. So the 2 minerals that you see down here, the mineral input, and then of course the wealth input, those are being fed into Earth. So now I have additionally 2 and 1 here at Earth, which, the more you have, the more powerful Earth becomes. So that's how this game is. This game can really help you manage very large empires because of this particular mechanic. Now, if I decided that, hey, I want to actually govern Mars, I can take an unassigned leader and place them on Mars, and then I can govern Mars just like I govern Earth, and it becomes a core world. So it's all very, it allows you to basically micro as much as you want or macro as much as you want, and I really appreciate that. So it's really great stuff. Up here in the upper left-hand corners, we have, there's two corners. Upper left-hand corner, we have leader candidates. All right, so we of course knew about that. We have executive orders that are available to enact. We're going to talk about executive orders here in just a second. And then colony capital completed on Mars. So it's telling us that we completed our colonization of Mars here. All right, with that, let's go to executive orders. So executive orders are, of course, a work in progress. These are just the first few, and I'm sure there's going to be many more. But what you can do, so you have control up here, and you gain, I feel like 53 control per turn. Might be a little imbalanced or incorrect, I'm not sure. But again, this is alpha. And the control per turn, the control allows you to enact different things. So right now I can enact, with the 20 that I have, I could draft colonists and immediately, I don't have to wait for another colony ship. So you know what, we're going to go ahead and do that. Actually, before we do that, we can also look to see what the other stuff is. Galactic Festival is going to improve our tourism for 25 turns. Illicit deals is going to provide credits but increase crime. And crime is something that you'll notice is a big deal, because the more crime you have on your feeder planets, the less they actually provide, because there will be decay of those materials that you're trying to provide to your core worlds. So we also have pressure scientists, which will putting pressure on a scientist will result in an immediate plus 50 research. And then colonial supplies, which will basically help our approval rate. We call election, so reform your government into one, which offers increased bonuses, but will also increase your citizens' expectations, and so on and so forth. And we can invite leaders, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then martial law improves your manufacturing and reduces research and approval for 50 turns. So if things are just way out of control and you really want to fight somebody off, it's time to enact martial law. So we're going to draft colonists, and we're going to take our new colony ship. And there's also another colonizable planet here called Artemis. So we're going to go ahead and take that. And now we're going to check research. So again, another system that's changed, and I think for the better, honestly. So we can't look at the tech tree. You will eventually be able to see it, but for the time being, you can't see it. And what this does is provides you with 4 or 5, depending on whether or not you have a minister of technology assigned, 4 or 5 options based on random draws right now. I think what they hope to do is, with each faction having like a certain, gravity, almost, if you guys have played Sword of the Stars, if you can imagine how each of the races was given a stronger likelihood to pull certain technologies, that's their eventual goal. But right now, the Terrans being who they are, they're going to be more about like, in the system that eventually may come, they might be more, geared towards the exploration technologies and the diplomatic technologies. So here, though, we have space elevators, and space elevators are good for me. Oh, look at that. It's a little wonky. That's fine. No big deal. And so we're going to take space elevators for the increased manufacturing. I really am a big manufacturer at the beginning. For me, it's a really big, important thing. We're going to build 1 probe, and we're also going to build a colony ship as well. And with that, let's go ahead and take a look to see if there's anything else. We can also look at our normal stuff, like the basic stuff you'd expect from a 4X game. You're able to govern your civilization and look at the variety of different things that's going on. You can see your colonies. This gets really long really fast. And your timeline, your reports of, the variety of things that you may want to look at. These are also things that were in Galactic Civilizations 3 as well. And so on and so forth. So, and then finally, we have our ideology tree. All right, so we actually have 2 points in trust, which I guess is when you're this way. I don't know what that means, actually. I really don't. Well, anyways, so as you actually complete missions is what they're called. They're not quests. They are kind of like quests, but they're missions. And as you complete missions, you gain points in the ideology tree, which you can then go ahead and implement the way you want to. So in this case, if I wanted to maybe stick to this side, as we are, as humans, we're individualists, and we have like kind of an authoritarian streak. I mean, that sounds like Terrans, right? Sounds like humans. So with that, we'll be able to implement, we're going to be mostly placing points or placing things on this side of the ideology like circle tree. And it's very much like the political ideology spectrum that you might fall on. And there's like a test out there you can take, and it shows you like where on the political spectrum you are. Well, so eventually we could add to diplomacy, we could add approval, we could have leaders cost less, we can add control, we can actually double ship experience, and we can also double or actually provide a 50% bonus to homeworld influence. So these are all great things, right? We could click these and eventually take it, but we don't have any points yet. So that, I think, is the main differences. I mean, other than the scope, I really want you to understand how big this game can be, right? So this particular sector is about the size of maybe like a small to medium map in Galactic Civilizations 3. And eventually you will find subspace streams, which will allow you to get out of this sector and move to more sectors. And depending on how big you've made this universe, that could be a lot. Or it could just be a few. Or you could always just stay here in this one sector if that's something you want to do. So the scale of the game becomes much more like a game like Distant Worlds, or something to that effect. Even Stellaris, you get to that point where you're talking about very large galaxies, and it really is pretty significant in its change and the change of scope when it comes to the differences between Galactic Civilizations 3 and Galactic Civilizations 4. I mean, look at this. This stuff looks great. I mean, I know a lot of it looks like an upgraded version of Galactic Civilizations 3 with regards to some of the ship models and stuff like that, but they've spent a lot of time making ship models a thing, like an improved thing here in this game, and they've actually enlisted some people from the community who were like really big into building or designing ships, and it shows. It's really pretty awesome. We're going to play a couple turns. All right. So we'll get you up here to Artemis, and we'll have our next event. Despite the equipment and protocols set up to protect against the massive radiation on this planet, mutations are a fact of life for those who live here. A talented local surgeon believes that the most extreme cases might not be worth the time spent to heal them. Instead, he suggests that we use those subjects as organ harvest donors for the less critical patients. What are your orders? Never. All our citizens deserve the best possible care. It is reasonable request, and we can make money from organ sales, plus 200 credits in its individualist ideology. And then I like the way the surgeon thinks, promote him to a government role. I think it's a reasonable request. Let's do it. 200 credits. So now we have 1,200 credits, and I believe that means we have even more of a slant towards that part of the ideology. So now we're into there. And eventually I assume that once you become more of something, you gain maybe some sort of bonuses or whatnot, or malices, or both. So yeah, there's still a lot more to be said about Galactic Civilizations 4, because there's a lot more coming, right? Because we are still in an alpha state, and this is just the very beginning. I mean, you can't even get into policies, which it says will be coming in beta 2. We don't yet have the diplomacy because we haven't met anybody else, and then galactic achievements. So those are things that we don't even have access to yet. And there are many more things that they plan to do with regards to the citizens. From what Brad was saying in our interview, if you haven't checked out the interview, you should check out our site. We did an hour-long interview with Brad Wardell on the YouTube channel, and he basically outlined an idea of how the citizens will have their own agendas, they'll develop their own personalities, and they may clash with some of your other characters. They may rebel against you, and it's kind of like, it's got like a Crusader Kings feel in that regard, because characters and citizens become such a much bigger deal in this game as a result. so you'll be watching them more and keeping a closer eye on them as a result. So that's it for now. I will be playing the first 30 turns in the next episode, so come on back, and if there's any questions you have, please, I don't have any problems answering them, so go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. This is Rob from eXplore. I'm so excited to continue to show this, so keep on coming back. Until next time, keep exploring.